What does a submissive woman do for her man?
Everything.
What does that mean?
You know, like packing his bag, unpacking his bag, just making sure all the things that he wants. And like, I pretty much read his mind. So it's like, if I know you and I study you, like I know how you are in the morning, I know how you are about midday, I know when you're in this mood, what you need. Like, before you can ever ask me for something, I'm already on it. I mean, he's spoiled. And you know, when I talk to my girlfriends about it, they're always like, oh, how you guys doing? And I'm just like, girl, he's rotten. I'm like, he's spoiled rotten. Like, he's rotten. But I love that. Like, I want him to be that. I think my biggest flex is how I treat my man. And I've been known to love people back to health. And sometimes it's very draining, but my love is my superpower. And I used to hate that about myself. But now it's like, I'm just embracing it. Like, that's who I am. Like, if I love you, I can heal you.
It's your joy.
It is my joy. You know, I love to see him eating the meal that I cook.
Pick-me's are women who try to do everything right just so a man can choose me. Yeah, cut that shit out. Cause I'm gonna keep it real with you. Men already know what they want in a woman and who they want. But if you're so nurturing and you're an asset and it's not you, they'll never tell you to stop doing what you're doing because it's beneficial. And I don't want to hear none of that shit like, oh, I'm just a nice person, I'm genuinely like that. Well, bitch, you gonna genuinely get played. No, it's just that I'm just naturally like that. Like, the shit I do for him is natural. And your natural ass is gonna get played. If you are making a man's life easier, i.e. cooking, cleaning, providing pussy whenever he wants, and he's giving you the minimum, he's never going to do more. And he's never gonna tell you to stop because it's beneficial to him. No history in niggadom ever has a man been like, oh, stop doing all this stuff. Stop making my life easier. I don't look at you like that. Hell no, they gonna kick their motherfucking feet up and enjoy these perks without doing no work.
Hi, you guys. So I just wanted to come and touch on this topic of men's making it known that they are looking for women that are submissive. Now, I was Googling for thumbnails, right? Because I don't want to use her picture and Cam Newton's picture on my thumbnail because I don't really want this conversation to be about them. I think she's raising the conversation, but I'm not really that interested in talking about them. And I don't want to put their picture on this video. And so I started looking for images that I could use for the thumbnail. And it's just as I was thinking, when I think about submissive and submission, it kind of comes with, I guess the word is servitude, and along those lines of you submitting yourself to this person and doing whatever it is that they want or to please them. And personally, I think I've already said this in a couple of videos. I don't subscribe to all of this stuff. I don't subscribe to all of the nonsense that people are saying that are coming out of the manosphere. And I think I've said that already. And I think people probably, if you are listening to my videos, you probably feel that way about me anyway. And I don't care. But it's not something I subscribe to. And then I think what makes me that way is that I grew up with a lot of very strong-willed women around me. And so that's what I know. And that's part of who I am. And my grandparents, they, till death do them part with their husbands as well. And so, and a lot of women in my family, like I'm from that generation where people were still getting married before all of this. I just need a baby daddy. Before that became the thing, when people were still married. So I come from a large family on both sides, to my mother and my father's side. And so a lot of people that I am related to are married and have been married, or some of them have been married multiple times, but they believe in the tradition of getting married and having a family. And so I've been around a lot of women, like I said, that are strong-willed and are married. So I don't necessarily understand why people are using this whole conversation that you have to be submissive to someone in order to be their wife. And I think I've already expressed my feelings about the Cam Newton guy as well. I find him to be childish, and I find the stuff that he's saying, childish. I just feel like he's doing the things that he's doing because he can. He understands who he is and the fact that there are women who will do anything to flex. Because when she's saying, I think my biggest flex is taking care of my man, I feel like her biggest flex is being able to say she's dating these athletes. And this is just my opinion on her, not just her, but a lot of these women. I think that people are willing to do whatever it is to get to whatever it is that they want. And all the time, you don't hear love and commitment and words like that come out of these conversations. It's just a back and forth of what you got to do for me to get next to me, because I'm so and so, and what I'm willing to do to get next to him, you know. And then, you know, with these women, the ones that are married to these athletes, regardless if they're submissive or not, you're going to have all these other women involved, right? And they're not doing any of this stuff that you're doing, and they don't care. Like the young lady was saying in that video that I put up, she doesn't care if these guys, whoever she's with, is married or not. And they're not going into a relationship with this guy, this Cam person or whomever else, the way you are, right? And they don't care about the marriage part of it or being out in the public with these guys, because they still can get what you're getting from these men in private. And so is that part as well. And I think that's when the resentment comes in from the wives. And this is when you start seeing all these problems, right, arise. That's just my opinion. I think that you can see from the video how she went from the most recent video, which is the first video in the interview, stating, or in conversation, I don't know if she was being interviewed, whatever, but she was stating how she's, you know, her flex is to please her man. And then when people went and found the other video on her same Instagram page, she was speaking like Miss Independent, right? Don't let no man push you over. And so the only thing about a lot of that stuff, when you're pretending to be somebody that you're not in a relationship, eventually who you really are is going to come out. And I'm not just talking about these women, these men as well. And then that's when, like I said, all the problems will come into play. And I'm not necessarily talking about them. Like I said, I don't want to make this conversation necessarily about these two people who I really don't know anything about. I don't know who Jasmine is. And I barely know who Cam Newton is, to be honest. So this is not about them. I can honestly say, however, from watching all of this stuff play out over the years from all these different athletes that come through the media and come through these blogs, you know, we have a right to form an opinion, because we are seeing that these things keep happening time and time again. And so that's the place that I'm speaking from. But like I was saying about the whole word submissive, as I was looking it up, you know, you start to see all this bondage stuff and BS, and what is it called? BDSM, you know, type language and pictures of people in handcuffs, people looking like they're getting choked, and all this stuff, right? And some of the language I put in this video so you guys can kind of see. And for me, the type of woman that I am, it rings negative to me. I don't want anyone talking to me like that. To me, and this is just my opinion, I will make you as happy as you are making me. And that's what I believe. I don't feel obligated to do anything for anyone, and I don't care who you are and what you got. It's not going to work like that. So, you know, but I do understand that these guys understand that some of these women are out here fighting for their attention, right? They position, right, to say that they're the wife or girlfriend of Cam Newton. And so he understands that, and this is where the position I feel like he's coming from. And the women understand, so they want to have one up on the other girl by saying, I will do whatever he wants me to do and on the stuff. But then when you get in the house with this person and you start seeing who they really are, you know, 9 times out of 10, she's going to turn some of that down, right? And that's just what I believe. Especially, like I said, when the resentment of all these other women jumping on Instagram talking about he's sending me flowers, we over on the business retreat and all this other nonsense, that the women who don't care won't put out here. Because the young lady said, I don't care if they're married. I'm not the one married, he's the one married. And that is an overall mindset that's out here. She's not the only young lady who thinks like that. People may feel because she's a black woman she has no right to feel like that, but there are a lot of women who walk around with that mindset, regardless of race and age and all of it. So I don't know. I personally, for me, the word submissive, it brings on, it carries a negative, it feels negative for me. Just based on the stuff, even that I'm seeing here on Google, and even with the guys here on YouTube, when they're using it and they're speaking, you know, they come off very angry and aggressive, the way they're saying that women better be doing whatever they want to say, or whatever they say. Like Kevin Samuels was saying, if I'm paying the bills, I'm taking care of everything, you gonna do what I say, you better be ready to bust down what I say, and all this nonsense, and which I'm not gonna make this about him. So, but anyway, you know, and so you hear the aggression, you hear the negativity, and oftentimes, like I said, when you really have to go into a situation like that, these are the situations that you see become violent, right? And that's when you see the DV come in, the domestic violence come into play. And the red flags are often there, because anybody talking to you like that without really showing you a level of respect as a human being, who should have a right to feel and have her own opinion and her own space, and you know, be able to say, no, I don't want to do this, and yes, I want to do that, or, you know, without someone telling you that you don't have a right to an opinion, because they paying the bills. I mean, you can see how that is kind of tied into the violence that will come along with that. And then, like I said, that person, he was tying it into, in a lot of his videos, he was tying that into violence by using that whole topic of domestic discipline. You know, it's illegal in his country now, all of that stuff that he was talking about. You know, you can't even discipline your child, right? But can you imagine men sitting around talking about they're going to discipline you, right, as a woman, a grown woman? And the truth of the matter is, for most people, because everybody is not Cam Newton, everybody is not going to have a household where their wife will not be expected to work. And a lot of these men that's doing all this talking on YouTube, they're not in a position to tell some woman that she doesn't have to go out and have a job. They want you to go out and have a job and still, you know, feel like they can talk to you sideways like that. And if you really listen to a lot of them, that is what they're saying, right? And so, you know, I don't subscribe to conversations like that. I think that's to each his own, though. To each his own. I mean, some women, that's what they doing, and that's up to them. But you guys can let me know what you think about what I'm saying. Do you think that it's kind of tied to it's aggression and anger, and you could expect to see these things play out in a lot of these relationships that are built like this? That's my opinion. You guys can let me know what you think. What do you think about what Jasmine is saying? And you see that may not, you know, it's probably not necessarily how she really truly feels, because she's saying something completely different in the second video. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about the whole conversation of being submissive to a man, or submitting in a relationship to your spouse, to your husband, because that is supposed to work one way, right? So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video.